everybody. Welcome back to Barbells and Booty. Today we have special guest Steph joining us. Are you? Beautiful.
Twerked the wrong way.
Right. We need a little piece of that, baby.
Equal opportunity.
Some of that
here.
chocolate.
We equal opportunity. Don't discriminate here on Barbells and Booty.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
What we talk about?
We talked about mental health. We talked about dating. We talked about sports. Pandemic. We hit a lot of different topics.
All the fun stuff. All the fun stuff. All right. Enjoy.
Hit a button, Morty. Give me a beat. Oh man. Okay. All right.
Trap though, 24 shell cases on the floor.
Always tell a good unisex bathroom.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? You gotta keep it nice and clean.
Don't fuck around.
Roy keeps his whole place clean. He gets
Good.
mad because I have dogs. So if there's a dog hair, he's like,
Your
your
dog is
sick.
sickly,
Your
man.
dog is
You
sick.
shouldn't have that much
Your
dog
is
hair
sick.
traveling.
No, she's a fucking husky.
I don't know what that means. It
The
means
kind of dog that just sheds a
Sheds a
lot.
lot, okay.
we don't need the outside inside.
Do I know this
Let me get my laptop. So,
I'm just saying. I don't
so
want to
Steph just told me
Yes.
he took his, you said junior year? So yesterday, right? I was like, yeah, you have Steph. Steph's cool, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, he has a kid, he has a daughter, right? I was like, how old? I'm like, I don't know, like, not like 6, but like definitely at the age you could leave them by themselves, right? So
it was like 12? You can leave him at 12?
So it was like, so probably like 12, right? So I went up yesterday, confirmed, it's like, hey, Steph,
He literally
you know,
like,
good for 11:30. He's like, yeah, I just dropped my daughter off to college. I'm like, oh, shit.
She's like 20.
I'm like, oh, shit.
Don't leave her alone. She's 20
I'm like, oh,
now.
shit.
Where'd she go to school?
North Carolina A&T.
Very
I
nice.
say how old I is. Listen,
Yeah, she's done things alone.
all right, yeah, so
At this age, I'd hope.
junior year in college, not 12. Like, god damn.
And we met there because she had to drive her car down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this year is the year she brings her car to campus.
That's big dog time. I didn't make it to college that long.
Yeah.
To be able to drive by. I started taking the bus to BCC. BCC, Bronx Community College.
I made that assumption. I figured
I got punted out after my freshman year of college. School ain't for everybody.
No, it is not.
So we got Steph here today, my boy.
Hey.
How long knew you, Steph? When we meet? I remember when we meet. It was my first year seeing pro football ever.
Right.
On the Titans. So my first year seeing pro football, this has been like 06, right?
Of course it's called the
The
Titans.
Titans.
The
Remember
Titans.
them?
Remember them. So it was like 2006,
Right.
right? You know, I played college ball, and when I left college, I didn't know there was football that didn't exist outside the NFL and like
Yeah.
regular college football. So I was in Powerhouse Gym in the Bronx, shout out. RIP actually. Powerhouse Gym in the Bronx. They didn't make it through the pandemic, and they had like pamphlet, like signs up saying, you know, semi-pro football, blah blah blah. I was like, huh, what's this? Right? Back in my head, then somebody went to high school, and reached out to me, said we got a team. I learned about semi-pro football, right? And then I came to the Titans, and then came into a culture of fun shit that I didn't know existed.
The whole community.
A whole community
Of fun.
of fun. So,
So you guys
So,
played
since
football
06.
together.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
06.
There was a whole community that I
So
did
you guys
not
are
know about.
ridiculous. Got it. You played football together.
She thinks all football
Another-
players are ridiculous.
You're all ridiculous.
Why?
I'm not allowed to talk about the stories Leroy has told me. So I just think all football players are
There are no
ridiculous.
stories.
There are no
There are no
stories.
stories. No
They're
stories.
5 a.m. stories at the gym. Let me tell you this story about this time. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Censored
Is right.
myself.
There we go. Blah, blah, blah is correct.
So all football players are ridiculous.
All of them?
Yeah. But, you know, semi-pro football, obviously, you know, most of us will get paid to play. You have to have a real job,
You
right?
describe us as position, because every position comes with its different.
I try to educate them on that
Fair
because it's not the same.
It's
Okay.
not the
all right.
same.
So what was
Not
your
the same.
I'm a
position?
DB.
Okay.
That's the point. See, if they come fly like this and shit, and they got fit, the flyer they are, more likely they're like DB, right? Now, once you bump down levels, like if you kind of fly, right, you're probably a safety. If you're like a tweener, which I'm at, you know, I'm like, I dabble. I don't need my whole outfit legit, but some shits need to be legit, right? So linebacker, safety,
Right.
I'm a dabble, right? The whole shit don't need to be together.
Right.
Cornerback,
Yeah.
whole shit's together all the time, cause they on stage.
Gotta be.
They on
By
stage
yourself on
all the
an
time.
island.
On the island by themselves.
Just posing? Is that what you did?
Yeah.
Covenant
Just
receivers.
posed? You were like, look at me.
Yeah, look at me. Look at my socks.
Don't
my
give me
swag,
the
my
ball.
towel,
Just look
You
at
gotta
me.
look at me. So semi-pro
perfect.
football, you actually have to have a real job too, right?
Naturally.
So Steph, you're a teacher, right?
Yeah. I'm educated. Well, I'm a dean now.
You're a big dog now.
I'm a big dog.
All right.
I'm a small fry. I'm a cog in the wheel.
Okay. Okay. So talk to us about, like, you know, being a teacher. Well, you're a dean now, but, like, you know, teaching what you taught, and then even during, like, pandemic where teaching had to change and stuff like that. Like, talk a little bit about that. How was that different, like, teaching or being in that school system?
Were you
and then that changed during, like, the pandemic year?
But I was still with the school system. So I never actually physically went into the classroom and taught. I went straight into the other realm.
Oh, okay.
But my area of expertise is behavioral dysfunction. So we have all those children that are, we have different, we have on the spectrum, which is autism, things of that nature, but then we also have the behavioral issues, which are, you know, children that may have ADHD, ADD, schizophrenia, multiple personality, like just a realm of like different behaviors. Okay. So for us, being in the pandemic was very challenging. Because these are children that it's hard to keep their attention. And now you put them in front of a screen.
It's even worse.
It's even worse. So attendance down.
Drop.
You know, right. Because first you gotta then look at the income level of who we are working with, which is lower. So now you gotta get equipment to them. Because most of them didn't even have a computer. So you now have to wait till everybody gets their tablet or their laptop, and then finally, and then once that happens, then the parents had the struggle of actually getting them to log on. Right. And then once we got them on, how do we keep them?
How do you keep them on?
You know, how do we keep them with their cameras on?
Right.
Because that was another issue. Like, can we keep them with their cameras on? My thing was, whether your camera's on or off, if you were there, that's good enough.
Right, because you attended at least.
Right, you're at least there, you're attending, and then slowly but surely, some of them would just turn it on.
Okay.
Once you started to get, you know, we got the hang of it and everybody was comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, because everybody lives in different situations, so that's a part that we didn't really account for. That I may not want to turn my camera on 100%. If my situation isn't the best. I don't want people to see it.
To see it, yep.
You know, so that was something you had to take account for. So, but it worked out.
That's dope.
It worked out. It took time.
What's the age range?
Middle school, which is the hardest.
That's hard. Yes.
It is the 6 through 8.
So I don't have any kids. I had 2 kids. I always say like junior high school age, middle school age, the worst fucking kid age ever. Yeah. Especially for dudes, right? Because boys, you're in junior high school. We could say grown shit, right? But we're not old enough where grown up could put like hands. So you say wild shit at junior high school age.
You say wild shit.
Nah, you do, because you test it and he's like, this motherfucker gonna hit me back, right? High school is different. You in high school, adult gonna put hands on you, so you check it a little bit. Junior high school age, all the kids that have junior high school, different kind of kids that have in high school.
It's that middle area, right, where like you're not a baby anymore, so you get it, but you still want to play.
Yeah, but they also are going through puberty.
It's also
a huge thing.
And you don't get that. Time is running out. You get that in high school, like, oh, real life is about to hit me in about 4 years, 3 years. But in middle school, you still think, I got all the time in the world.
100%.
So, and you know, you do your youth yoga, right?
Yeah.
And what were the ages for yours, generally?
So, all the way from daycare, which like the babies were like a year.
Yeah.
All the way to like 12 years old.
To 12.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So like we have the kids.
So in like daycare, they'd have kids up to the age of 5, and so they'd have like the 1-year-olds on the mat participating. Listen, let me tell you, watch those little kids, they learn stuff.
Yeah.
Because yoga is not just about the movement, but it's about connecting to your breath, which really helps because you can all of a sudden calm down, you know what I mean? Teaching children how to regulate their emotions using their breath is, I think, amazing, and I think every person should learn how to do this. And so that's basically what my job was during the pandemic. It was less about, because when you do it with the kids, it's like fun songs and stuff, and you'll teach them like a pose or two, and you'll teach them some Sanskrit, and so they get excited about these things. But it was always about connecting them to their breath and showing them how when they took like these really deep breaths, how it made a difference in how they felt. And so during the pandemic, I had kids all over. I had kids in and we just did it on Zoom, and I had kids in Greenwich, I had kids in Scarsdale, I had kids in Yonkers, I had kids in Mount Vernon, I had kids in New Rochelle, I had kids, where else? And I had kids in Norwalk. And it was a lot. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Just getting them to just participate. Because sometimes I literally, depending on their age, just sit there and just listen. Just listen to them about what they had to say, and we would just do breathing exercises. Essentially, I would just have them close their eyes and breathe for a few minutes. Sometimes that's all we did.
Yeah.
Just connect to their breath so they could find some sort of calmness. You know what I mean?
So we had kids in different stages. So you had like, you know, let's say 1 to 12. You had middle stage. Most of the kids I interacted with down at the time was high school kids, right? So we get them at different stages, and pandemic time is just essentially giving them something to do, keeping them consistent, keeping them active here, right? Especially when things are shut down, right? And you know, it's real easy for these kids, and demographically it's different, obviously. Right. But like just to kind of sit around, play Xbox, play Fortnite, and not come out the house, right? So like we make fun of like participation trophies a lot, right? But I mean, if you could get a kid out and active, especially now when they have all these things at home, that's big. That's big. So you know, that was the thing, is keeping the kids active and healthy and all that other stuff. Yeah.
And as adults, did we struggle? Like I struggled, you know, like I actually went down like 3 to 4 pant sizes during the pandemic. It was crazy.
Well, I mean, you're in Yonkers or the Mount Vernon or the Bronx?
The Bronx.
The Bronx, right? It's different too.
Mount Vernon.
But like it's different too, especially where you were in the pandemic, right? Because you know, obviously I'm from the Bronx. I have family in the Bronx. This shit was wild during pandemic time with people.
But see, I live in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I was home.
Oh, you're home.
I was home.
Yeah.
And our situation was a lot different than down there because everybody's spaced out. Yeah. So we were out and about and kind of doing things. We just, you know, we just couldn't do certain. But there was a lot of things, like I think liquor stores closed down there.
They closed down the liquor stores?
Did they close down out there?
I thought they were open forever.
I think, you know what? It was the reverse.
They didn't close that shit.
For us,
they closed down the liquor store.
We were closed. So I would come down here, grab mad bottles, and then
come back up. See, hustle. But that's the thing too, right? So, you know, for me, when the pandemic happened, you know, it was an opportunity to do something different within the same realm of what I was doing, right? And it's just the same kind of mentality, like, oh, you guys don't got liquor here? I got liquor here. I'm gonna grab it, and we'll get you some liquor, right? So it's the same kind of mindset, same thing with you, right? Yeah. Like, you were able to kind of branch out, open up, and do yoga on your own, you know, when things like that happen. So it was just an opportunity to kind of refocus your energies. So lucky I was able to do that for the pandemic.
I gained weight.
You got big?
Month, because I didn't know what I was doing. So it was just like, oh, I have a drink.
Yep.
I have another drink.
Yep.
I'll hang out. I'll chill. I'll watch a show.
Yeah.
And then after like 3 weeks, I looked in the mirror. I was like, oh no, this is bad.
No, literally, because I was working from home. I was like, if I start drinking, I won't stop. Like, who's gonna stop me?
So
I love wine. Like, I was like, I will gain.
I'll tell you guys some funny shit. So because I still had to work remotely, right? So my days are still stuck. However, it came to bacon for me.
Bacon?
So not bacon, baking.
Bacon.
I'm not gonna. So I'm like, I'm making these lemon cookies. I baked like the first like 3 weeks a lot. And I looked in the mirror because, like, I'm not gonna eat one thing. Yeah, I'm gonna eat the whole fucking cake.
Everything.
Obviously.
We're different in that way, though.
So I looked in the mirror. I turned sideways. Not even a little bit. I turned sideways. I'm like, yeah. What we doing? Yeah. You know. But it's from the pandemic, right? Because you're out your routine and you're home a lot, right? You're home.
Oh yeah. So I lost weight because when I was teaching yoga, I was like driving constantly, like eating on the run, never like sitting still. I was at home teaching yoga. I could make all of my food, and I would go on walks like for hours.
Is that why that one dog is?
She's fine.
Okay.
She's a husky. That's why she sheds.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Sure.
He just makes me. Right. I always talk into the mic when he makes me mad.
Bring your dog here into the gym.
Into the gym.
Into the gym. So disrespectful.
I have like 3 lint rollers. He's only happy when he sees me outside at my car lint rolling before I come in.
Before you come in.
It's the only time he doesn't give me shit about it.
That's effort.
Yeah. All right.
That was effort. That's what I associate that with.
I don't want to talk about.
So that's how I gained weight, because before that, it's the routine. Yep. And I coached high school football at the time. So I was always active,
Right.
always running
moving.
around, always moving. So after that moment in the mirror, I said, okay, I got to do something. And luckily for me, actually, there was a friend of mine that was doing something. Shout out to True Fitness.
All right.
And there was a young lady that had teachers gym in the Bronx at a school I was coaching at.
Oh, cool.
And she had online sessions.
Yeah.
And I started logging into them.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Yeah, I started.
He
Oh,
had
you didn't
online
invite
stuff.
me, man.
I
You
put everything
could've
on. I put everything on social
So
media.
he had
Everything.
he had-
Everything's
He
on
let
social
me
media.
borrow. He let me and my sister borrow like dumbbells and kettlebells from the gym, and we just worked out from
Yeah.
home. And he had like different plans to do, so we did those workouts
Okay.
until
It was
I
up
came
there.
back into the gym.
So on the social medias, I promoted
Yeah.
it.
I turned it into, like, you remember double sessions?
Yeah.
Back in
Yeah,
football?
2-a-days.
Yeah, it was.
Jesus
I turned it into 2-a-days. I
Oh,
get up in the morning, do True Fitness with my friend Nat, and then I go out to the hills, run the hills. You know, I love the hills, man. And, you know,
That's that Jerry Rice shit.
yeah, I love the hills.
No hills for me. No hills for me. So all right, so that's interesting. So like you were able to take an aspect of what we grew up with playing football,
Yeah, the structure
right?
stays
And then
the
just the aspects of football is different for me. I play football for one reason. I was trying to fuck people up.
Right. Yeah,
Dramatic.
savage, the way he would hit
Drama
people.
queen, I'm sure.
As a drum.
I'm sure
Well,
he did.
listen, real
I'm
quick,
sure.
so we were in Jersey somewhere playing. Here he comes down here, like a missile. That's what you just see.
I'm not surprised.
And this guy gets hit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And it's hard. We're all celebrating, having a good
Yeah.
time. I'm looking for, because I'm over there on the side. I'm like, wow, that looked like it hurt. He's
That
laying
looks like
there.
it hurt.
I'm like, damn, you might not get up. And then he pops up, goes to the
Yeah.
sideline, and proceeds to take all his clothes off. I've never seen anything like that.
crazy.
I've never seen anything like that. Am I lying?
Nah,
Listen, he starts taking off the pads, the shirt, like, I'm never playing this sport again.
Never again.
No, I've never seen nothing like that in my life. I said, this guy's getting undressed. He's finished. Not for the day,
Yeah.
for the season, forever. Like, he may have never played football
Did you ever
again.
play football again?
No, that was the other kid.
Oh, yeah, that's the kid that he hit.
I
That's the kid that he hit.
You kidding me?
Oh my God, that's
I'm
dramatic.
talking high school,
Good thing.
pee-wee,
Super duper dramatic.
college,
So I figured it was him.
indoor.
dramatic.
I've
You
never
were the most
seen
dramatic.
anyone do that.
Just do that. They were
after a
done.
hit.
Wow, Roy, good for you. You hit hard like a bullet. They were
So like the
I'm
one
done,
thing
down for
about,
the count.
and this is the one thing all right, I'm gonna take
Pat
this conversation
yourself-
away
you're
that's
gonna pat yourself on the back.
No. But it's just different. One, how I'm gonna say this and how the world is now, and so on and so forth, right? I'm gonna test your manhood playing football. Like I'm gonna hit you as hard as I fucking can.
Of course you are.
And to see if you're gonna fold or not. And I'm gonna base my respect off my opponent. That. And if you fold, I'm gonna keep hitting you till you quit. If you don't fold, I'm gonna respect you, and it will be cool after that. But I'm gonna try to fuck you up. But like,
Fuck you up. Interesting.
I had to switch because I wasn't like a rah-rah person. I wasn't like, "Arr!" Like I'll do that shit and then laugh the next play.
No, I
Right? Because,
You don't hold on to anything.
yeah, but that's always there.
Fair
Which
enough.
is why you can just switch it on.
Got
Right?
it.
Yeah, but nah, I play to fuck people up. But it's within the context of the game. You know, it's just, I was just,
I played to
they
look
pay for
good.
it.
Feel good.
But I also did
People
those things.
see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people.
Well, you can do both things. You could listen. I got down. I have as many socks as Steph had at once. You know, I only had 2 socks on. He had 15, even in the summertime, which is crazy.
I played to live another day.
I know.
And there were times in the game when I'm holding on to somebody. I'm just like, you might want to go down because the next person that comes, they're gonna
They're
get
gonna
you.
get you.
That's the guy you want. You want to go down with me. I'm gonna take care of you. Lay you down nicely. We'll roll together.
Right.
It'll be done. It's a
Everybody go to work the next day.
quick,
Super
harmless
okay.
process. If you
Everybody's like-
struggle and if you fight, one of these type people are coming, and they're not gonna be as nice.
Fuck
You're
your
like, you're gonna
whole
look in the eyes of the
shit.
devil.
Oh,
He's gonna take you down. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I do
Looking
miss
back,
that.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
discipline that football taught you,
Yeah.
you implemented that in your life to
In
make
life.
sure that you were okay during the pandemic. Like you went back to that.
I went back to the
discipline.
roots
You went
of
back to it.
working out twice a day and making
Yeah.
sure that I'm eating right and the things that I did when
Habits
I was
to
playing.
make you
Habits, right.
keep you healthy.
Right.
Because I did the same thing. I started doing yoga every day and I started meditating again because I knew those 2 things were gonna keep me mentally where I needed to be because like we had no idea what was happening.
Yep.
Obvious.
Yeah.
Bring it back to the basics.
It was an uncharted territory
Yeah.
for us.
Two things I
will
do.
never talk to
Two
you
things
again.
I always do.
We will
I
not be
encourage
friends
people to
anymore.
shoot their shots.
Thank you.
Right?
You gotta shoot.
And I also never do anything to talk shit about somebody's other.
Very
About,
important.
you know,
end.
even when I was out and about.
We can
doing-
talk about like crazy dating though. That's funny because there's like insaneness.
There is a lot
Well,
of
dating now is way
Dating's
different than
It's
when I was out and about. I haven't been out and about in
We know.
12 years.
Yeah. But you, if you could tell your dating story, could you tell the story about how you left that chick at the gas station? That might be my favorite story I've ever heard in my entire life.
I'm not
Oh, damn it.
kidding me.
It's like my most favorite story.
I'll tell the story because it's a funny story.
It's the funniest story.
It may not make it.
I literally told it on a date.
So this is
Thank you for joining us here at Bar Bell and Booty. We're placing you on a brief hold while we tell each other ridiculous and inappropriate stories that are not appropriate for the internet. Please take a moment to rate, like, and subscribe. Have a nice-
I was a younger Leroy back then. This is way different.
The younger Leroy.
Well, you know, dating has taken a turn. And what I say is like, it's so easy to find people
Yeah.
that now it's almost like we live in this upgradable world. Like when it comes to like iPhones, you get your iPhone 10.
Yeah.
Next year, 11, 12.
Right.
So you just, okay.
Boom.
And it's that way with, you get on an app and
Yeah.
maybe you're dating someone that's actually interesting and you like them.
Yeah.
But if you get on that app, you have the temptation of
Access.
maybe the grass is greener over here.
Right.
And you start swiping.
Yeah.
And then you go and check that person.
Right.
And then you get back on the app. Maybe it's better over here. So you never put roots down when you didn't have those choices.
Right.
I think dating was a lot simpler.
To your point,
You
it's
have
easy,
access.
right? Because in the whatever the first stages are, whoever you're interested in,
Right.
is first stages,
Yeah.
Right.
Meaning like you're active-ish
Right.
in those first stages,
Right.
So it's almost like you don't have a chance, or if you go on, you don't give yourself a chance to attach yourself to this person that you're with already.
But also, because everybody's so accessible, like you can just text them,
Mm-hmm.
you can talk to them whatever, you can DM them on Instagram, anything. You can always constantly be talking. When, like, I'm like thinking about like dating in like middle school, we didn't
Right.
have cell phones. Like you had to like call them.
Crazy
you had
ass
to, like,
cell phones
take-
in middle school.
I got
my first
I
one
got a
senior
cell
year of high
phone
school.
in high school.
Yeah.
I got a cell phone in high school.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, you had an opportunity to miss people. You weren't constantly talking to people.
Right.
You weren't constantly checking up on people. Because
Right.
there's so many crazy things where people are constantly like, if you're like, I put a ton of stuff on my social media. So if people want to see me, they can
Mm-hmm.
just see me whenever they want.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And so that's a thing. I think people have lost that sort of
Because of the access.
illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get their fix.
Exactly.
Just log on.
Those dopamine hits.
Right.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Those dopamine hits.
That's the gift and the curse of social media as well. You know, you have to be careful how
Social
much
media
you
is
buy
stupid. I
into
hate
it.
it.
And it's up to the person, right? Like I find it interesting when people like, you know, have to take social media breaks and stuff like that, or people who say they actively hate social media,
It's
right?
stupid.
And like I
I
get
actively hate it.
so
Get our active.
like I don't think kids have social media, right? So that's
No,
I'm pinning that, right? So
I
punt that we
definitely
can establish kids, and I even think people in high school don't even need social
It's
media,
too
right?
attached to
Right.
self-worth.
So we'll say for
Yes. They
haven't
adults
figured
though,
it out yet.
right? But if you're an adult, for the most part, you control 99% of your content,
for sure.
right?
Yeah,
except for the shit that they advertise to you, you can't control that. I mean, you can, but they can't, right? They're trying to sell you shit, right?
Yeah.
So 99% of your content, like so for me, right?
Yeah.
If I don't want to see it, I'm not gonna follow it.
Yeah.
And Facebook, because family's tricky, makes it really easy
Delete
to
it.
block and mute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I have it because I have it.
That's
Make
what I
it
don't
really
have.
easy to block and mute people without them knowing they're blocked and muted, right? So
You can do that on Instagram too.
okay, so you can do it on Instagram too, right? So there's steps for you to actually enjoy social medias in a positive way.
Right.
It's people that make it shitty.
Yeah, no.
So if you have issues already,
Oh, no, I just think that I just don't enjoy people that
well, no,
way.
not you. You just don't like social media.
Yeah, no.
I don't like.
That's
I don't,
for me, I'm
I'm not
saying,
into it either,
whatever.
but I need it for work.
Same.
You know, like
Right.
90%
There's the key.
of my 90% of
It's the
my
only reason-
posts
it's the only
are
reason you
work-related
use it.
posts.
Yeah.
And on Facebook, every once in a blue, I'm gonna talk some shit about the Cowboys or the Giants or
Right.
you know Kobe. But like I might post on Facebook once a month.
Business, mostly.
Well, you can't buy in as well. Like you
Yeah.
can't log in because every time you log in and you see people, you're usually going to see them at their best.
The representatives.
They're always on vacation. They're always wearing the best stuff.
Not real life.
And that's not real life, right?
real life.
So I have to, in my mind, I've turned it into, it's a fantasy land.
Yeah, it's
Some
fake
level.
life, right?
It's fake life. You log on when you want, you show them your highlights,
Right.
and then you disappear for a little while.
That's it.
Do you dress like this all the time?
No.
But even
Sometimes
when he's off, he's
down
on. Though.
today. I'm just down today.
But even when he's off, he's on. So listen, there was a point in my life, right, where if I was going to the store, I made sure I matched. You know.
Nah, I don't care no more.
I was that, but again, this is way back when. This is young Leroy, right? Because I was
I
like,
don't care what I wear to the store.
you generally don't care.
I don't care at all.
You generally don't care.
He said,
You generally don't
he
care.
says I'm frumpy. He says I'm bohemian frumpy. I'm like, okay.
No, what was it like? What did I call you? Chic.
Then you made it nice. Because I was like, I have never looked frumpy a day in my life.
Nah,
That's correct.
chic, thrifty.
You really, I don't remember what you
Yeah,
said,
like
but you made me
chic,
feel better.
thrifty.
And I was like, thanks.
You know, like your
Thanks a
look
lot.
is like, listen, you could pick up all these things at the thrift store, but I'm
I
gonna make it
don't.
look dope.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's a
nice.
thing for you.
That's not what you said. You're complimenting me here. You did not compliment me
I
in
said
real
something
life.
relatively
You
similar
did
to
not
that,
compliment me in real life.
right? But no, listen, I used to make sure I match all the fucking time.
But as
You
we
always
age, right, the court of public opinion starts to not matter.
Doesn't care.
I don't care. I
You
never
know?
cared.
Oh, you never cared. See, I did care.
I did care too, but I feel like, and this could be a gender thing, where
Could definitely be a joke.
if you're active in hunting, you kind of have to care.
Right. Because if you're out in the store, you might meet
You
somebody.
might meet.
And if you're looking like a...
You can't have
Right.
an off day. You can't be like, hey,
Right.
listen, let me change,
Right.
stay
Like,
here.
If I'm in my pajamas, I woke up to you in the grocery store, you may...
No, I'm not going to be walking around in my pajamas. I'm not saying
But
that.
people do that.
Okay.
That's a lifestyle.
I mean,
That's something else.
it's not different from my
Sweats
pajamas.
with some holes in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta
At
come
this
off
point,
a certain way.
Ugg slippers all year
Because it's only the
round,
first time you meet
t-shirt.
them. That's
So
it.
years ago, somebody said to me that a person's opinion on you is none of your business, and I think for that it just like hit home, and I was like, oh, I don't care.
Well, I will say dressing. For me, I was taught dressing well is a form of good manners.
Fair
Generally,
enough.
right? So like, I'm
It's
gonna
not
dress.
the same thing.
Nah, but like I'm gonna dress no matter where I'm at, whether it's football, whether it's
Right.
here,
Right.
kind of whether it's whatever I am, I'm gonna make sure I'm dressing
Yeah.
because for me that's a form of good manners, showing respect for where we're
You
at.
always say, look good, feel good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the thing. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
look good, feel good, play
Feel
good.
good, play good.
It's a
and
real
when
thing.
You play, they pay good.
They pay good, you eat
They
good.
pay- right.
You
right.
eat good, you live good.
That's it. It all marries
You know?
itself. So it's important. And I think that, you know, when it comes to like dating and just finding like who your person is, as you age, it starts to change too. Like the longer, if you remain single past a certain age, you start to not give a fuck
Right.
about certain stuff. You get stuck in like where you are, which on some level is bad.
Or
Because
good,
you
right?
won't- Right, or good, because then you won't know
Now
how
you're-
to bend sometimes.
True.
And I was like, nah, I am what I am.
Yeah.
And I don't got to deal with that. You know what I mean?
So there's a good and bad with that, right? There's a goodness in the sense that you're your adult self and you're comfortable being who you are no matter what, right? The bend part is the thing that's tricky, right? Because
You're setting your ways.
you're setting your ways, and if you want a relationship to work, you have to make some changes and adjustments. Compromise, which is harder to compromise the
Which is
older you
hard,
get.
You know what I mean? And then you look at the dynamic of like children. Like you have no children. No? Okay, beautiful thing.
Got 2 cats.
You know what I mean? my child now is no longer a child.
Yep.
She's 20. You know what I mean? She'll be
Adult,
21 in a few months. How much patience do I have to deal with somebody who may have children? And then it depends on how young is the child. Because
That's the
I'm
thing.
already at the point where I know I'm not having more kids.
Right.
That then slices off a whole portion of my dating
It's true, right?
portfolio. Because there are people that I still meet
they
that
are-
want to have children.
But you're done.
And I have to say, that's not where I'm at. From the door.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you don't and you linger, see, I've been called selfish for stating that early. And I don't think that's
I don't think
selfish.
it's selfish.
I feel like that's me saying
Yeah.
to you, this is what I don't want. If you don't want that, walk now.
Someone
before we
calling
get
you
attached.
selfish
Right.
for you owning your own, like that's your life. Like somebody calling you
Yeah.
selfish for not wanting children, like they're being selfish because they're interested in you, and you're selfish because you just took yourself off the table. And,
And
you're
then-
like, but it could
but
be
also,
something magical.
that's
Like,
one
I
of the-
don't
but
want-
that's one of
I
the-
don't want
I've had the
children,
magic
so-
That's one of the benefits to.
Yeah.
That's one of the benefits of being older and dating, right?
Right.
Because you
Communicating.
well, you can communicate it,
communication
right?
earlier,
You know exactly what you want. You don't really have to compromise the places you don't feel like you need to compromise.
Yeah.
Which is different when you're younger, right? You may feel like because you just don't have enough life experience to be like, you know, I could just be this thing and be okay being this thing. I don't have to change this to appease somebody else because I may not get another one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you have, once you get older, you realize you have these options. Like, no, listen, I don't need to do these things. I'll look for somebody that'll fit this thing,
Right.
which is not something, we'll say most guys don't have younger,
Yeah.
right? And that's stuff you get as you get older and become wise as you acquire. So that's one of the cool things about being older.
But there is the rule. I don't know if you guys are
What is
familiar
the
with
rule? I
it.
can't wait to hear this.
Bros
Half-
before hoes.
half-
Is it gonna rhyme? Is it bros before hoes?
Hoes, not your girlfriend. Or your wife.
Jesus Christ, Leroy. Says
Half your age
Mm-hmm.
plus 7 for men is right.
Nah, do the math. Do the math. Do the
I'm not
math.
doing the math.
Do the
What's
math.
how-
What's the
Half your
so
age.
if you're 40,
half
Right.
of my age?
no, so if you're no, not you.
That's disgusting.
Right,
You're
you
a pedophile.
gotta get.
You got to get to search. So no, so like
because
if you're
then-
if,
That's disgusting.
so no, but
Children.
it goes back to what I was
Now
telling
you
you
have a
before. Actually,
13-year-old man.
this is actually if you do the math, it goes back to what I was telling you before. If you're 40, that means 27 as a baseline, as a
Right, there's a
We
low.
cut.
talked about
As a
that.
cut.
Right.
25,
Which is
I said was
right, which is a realistic cut.
Right.
Right, 27 at 40. Right, you obviously
for
from a
me.
math
I wouldn't
perspective,
date
you can't go younger.
And I'm beyond
Pedophile.
40, so I'm in the range of like
Right.
29 and up.
At a certain age.
You know what I mean?
So
and I
like,
have a 20-year-old child, so there's only but so far I can go.
yeah, you can't.
Seriously.
No, actually, yeah.
We can have fun, but we can't
Yeah,
go
me
into
either.
seriously
Me either.
past a certain age.
You know, but I think you guys generally though, not afraid, but more wary about going younger guy.
Yeah. You know that I am.
Which, listen, I tell you, you
Why
guys.
is that? Is that a maturity thing?
Yes. However, I have dated.
Do you lie into that you
I
get
have
mature
no.
faster as a woman?
No, not at all.
You don't think so?
I don't subscribe to that either.
You guys don't think so?
It depends on the person, but like
It does.
let's
It's
just
an
say,
individual
like,
thing.
Okay.
my experience.
Do you think, yeah.
Like, I just literally went out with someone like a year older than me, very immature, and then am now like going out with people younger than me, and they're way more mature, and so I'm like, I don't think it's an age thing, and I don't think it's a gender thing.
Well, now younger than you is older, right? A little bit now. So like, so when you say younger than you, what is some number you saw? Like 27, 20, 29?
Oh, I would never do 27.
Oh, what is that
No
about?
offense. It's
Why
like
not?
even weird. Like the youngest that I'm dating now is 29, and to me that's
29
like
is
a
good.
little.
29 is
Was
a
that
good
5?
base.
It's 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, but like but okay, we'll say 5 for you is better, right? Because okay, so that's one about being set in ways, right? As we get older, less so when you're a younger guy,
Yeah.
right? So meaning that as far as communication, you could come up at the same time. Like I hate the term grooming because grooming is a weird word,
I mean, where are we talking about?
But-
like,
but-
it's an
but-
accurate word for something. So.
for something. But this is different because 27, 28, 29,
Well,
we're
your brain
adults,
starts
right?
developing at 25. So after that,
So 27, 28.
Yeah.
So we'll say 29 actual adult, right? Those are actual adult ages,
Okay.
right? But still at the age of learning,
yeah.
right? Which for you, 33, 34, 30, 4-year-old women are able to, hey, listen, you can kind of teach that age where they're still an adult, right?
Listen to me.
No, but not listen, but like listen because
I've done this before.
like
You should listen.
wise.
but
I'm
it's
wise.
It's wisdom
You
at
are
that
wisdom,
age, right?
right? Okay.
But it's still old enough for the guy to have most of his stuff together. So it's not a kid.
Yeah. No,
Right.
if they have their stuff together, it's very different than
So like that 27, let's bump the age now. 27 is a sweet spot.
I'm not bumping that age down. 27.
Here's your
not-
27-year-old man.
No, my little sister's 26 years old. I ain't
Oh,
bumping it down
that's
to 27. I ain't bumping it down to 27. That's gross.
Well, then-
Okay, well,
that's
right.
right.
yeah, this is
So you
26.
have a baseline
You're right.
based on.
Your
family.
sister kid, yeah, right. It has to be 30, 29, 30.
Yeah, thank
But
you.
there's
Okay,
so
that's
many
fair.
different criterias, right? So
Yeah.
you go over like the whole kid.
But I wouldn't judge somebody who's my age who's dating a 27-year-old. But for me, I think because I'm so locked in, because my sister, who is 26 years old, she's also the baby of the family. She literally acts.
There's a lot-
She acts like a child sometimes, where I'm just like, how could anyone?
Kettle.
But the categories change now because it used to be like is the person's finances in order?
Yeah.
Do they drive? How can we build this life together?
Yeah.
But now I think, and it's perfect that we're sitting here, you then have to date according to, like, how much could you take a man seriously that does not take care of their body, does not work out on any type of regular basis? That is now a criteria where I look at people because I want to see how well
We're having a weird conversation.
do you take care of your body? Because the goal is to live long,
Right.
and to be healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, is there a point where, and I don't believe that it's being, what do we call it, shallow?
Yeah, no.
To be like, oh, I don't want to date a person that's overweight.
Not only that, I think everybody's entitled to their preference.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
right? So whether it's deemed as shallow or not, preference is a preference. But to your point about being healthy,
Right.
right? I think is relative, unfortunately, and people put different markers on what actually is healthy, right? So we'll say for me, and actually, you know what? I'll say for me, I'll say most of the trainers I know.
Okay.
Most of their wives, girlfriends, spouses are not into fitness like that.
Right.
Right? Because it's not as big as a thing for them to be in it, as long as they're happy with themselves and obviously relatively healthy.
Okay.
Right? Super okay. Right? Even though we may be around women who look a certain way because they're in it, not generally a thing. However, most of the women trainers I know who are into fitness, their spouses are usually always fitness dudes.
Right.
I'm talking like trainers, bodybuilders, things like that. Instructors a little bit different because aesthetically is not a lot put on instructors as opposed to like if you're an actual personal trainer, you know, competitor, things like that. Yeah. So I could say like 99% of females I know who are competitors, trainers, their spouses also that.
Okay. Interesting. We were talking about this because I said I don't care if they go to the gym or anything. I don't care if they work out, but they have to be active. They have to be active.
Right.
Because like I like to go hiking.
Right.
And I like to do things outside.
Yeah. So not traditional, but they still have to be active. And to hike, you have to be in good shape if you like aggressive walking. If you like climbing on shit. But that's what I meant. Like you have to be in shape. So it's still
can't do it if you're not
also a marker for you just being in good general shape.
Being in shape.
Yeah, I make fun of this shit. I understand you still have to be in good shape to do these things.
Does their diet tie in?
Their diet. So I'm a vegan. So like I got like a whole different diet. I don't really care as long as they feel good. If they're eating a diet where they feel good, then it doesn't really bother me. But everybody that I'm dating is pretty much somebody who takes. I'm not gonna lie. Most of them take care of themselves.
Does that matter to you though? If
No,
no, not that. I mean like if somebody you're dating is vegan or not. Like is
I
it?
don't care.
Is
No,
like
I've never dated a
not a
vegan
thing.
guy.
Okay.
I'm not into them.
So I believe that's the man-woman dynamic though.
You realize how obnoxious it is.
We are creatures of sight.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas women are more all-encompassing.
Right. Because to your point, the women I know who date fitness guys is not so much how they look, it's a dedication to fitness and being healthy and that stuff, as opposed to like visual.
Very true. Very true.
Makes sense.
I agree with that.
Dating's weird in general.
Dating is weird, man. Thank God I'm out the fucking game. More power to you folk who are.
Out the game for how long?
Oh, fuck, 12 years?
For a very long time.
Very long time, man. Out that dating game.
That's good. Don't get back in.
Nope. It won't be my choice.
Yeah, no, he is so lucky. His
It won't be my
wife.
choice.
I came in halfway through the conversation.
No, we're talking about, I asked if he was still
Effects.
banged up from football and effects
After
and
the
things like
after
that.
effects.
The after effects
It never
of
leaves.
life enjoyed.
You know what I mean?
Man, so I tell you, I knew, so my last year of football, first of all, I knew it was going to be my last year subconsciously because I didn't get no new gear.
Okay.
No new cleats,
Right.
no new gloves.
Good.
So I'm like subconsciously, I'm like,
Did you play until they did you guys just play until they were like, no more?
nah, that's not semi pro football works. Nobody ever tells you no more.
Yeah.
That's why
They'll
I was
keep
asking
letting you come.
It
if
will,
you want.
you will play
That's why I was
forever.
asking.
But even let's say at a pro level, right? You play either till you're good enough to retire or nobody's gonna pay you anymore.
Gotcha.
That's essentially how stuff works with all like elite level sports, right?
Right.
But like so for me, I kind of subconsciously knew it was probably gonna be my last year. I just wasn't playing for that team anymore, right? So I didn't get no new gear, nothing like that. So what really made it like official is this dude blew out his knee, Carl. So he blew out his knee. He played linebacker opposite of me, right? Knee blown up, and I saw him come to work every day with like a fucked up leg and knee. I'm like,
No.
Nah.
I don't want this.
nah, I want this, right? Because it felt selfish a little bit at that point for me.
What do you mean?
Like, cause no PTO days, right? No coverage, the kind of job I had, right? We didn't have those things. So if I wasn't working, I wasn't making money, right? So it's like, all right, the risk is not worth whatever the fuck I'm gonna get out of football at this
I
point.
wouldn't call that selfish. I would call that you thinking about yourself.
No, meaning selfish, meaning like if I would keep playing,
Right.
for me it would be selfish.
Oh, okay.
That's my, I would have kept playing.
Because you start thinking about the risks. Right?
Yeah,
And
which not something I ever thought about before.
Right.
Was a risk.
Jamal Davis was what started to, in my mind.
Really?
Him, the guy
Yeah.
from the Seminoles, with the Seminoles selected
Yeah.
him. But Jamal Davis was a man that became a paraplegic.
Yeah.
And then passed away in the hospital.
Oh, goodness.
You know what I mean? And the thought of it started to creep in. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is what I need to be doing
Now.
anymore. You just start thinking about it.
You lose that fuck it that you had when
Right.
you were young. Cause when you're young, you're like, fuck it.
And there was another
You
kid,
play ball.
a former teammate of mine, DeJuan Hidley, that passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Similar injury, spinal injury, in Connecticut. I think they were in Bridgeport that night.
Okay.
Playing for like a small team called the team was named the Unknowns. Which is why I could never join that team.
Join.
We were teammates
Who
on
we
a
doing?
team called the
No,
Packers, which is
they-
legitimate. When
Unknowns.
they were like, why don't you come out for this team? And I was like, what's that team? They were like, the Unknowns. I was
Nah,
like,
why would you
I ain't
do
gonna
that?
be able to do it.
Ain't no way.
I ain't gonna be able to do it.
Ain't no
bro.
way.
But yeah, he passed away that night. The way
Yeah.
he hit him and ruptured his spine, and that was it. So that's when the thought starts
Okay.
to creep in.
That's wild because like even how I played, I never thought about head stuff, right? Like that would never
The
be
way
a reason.
you played,
Yeah,
would think.
you would think. You would think. It was always like, man, what if I blow out my knee? What if I get an ACL? Like those are always the things that cause me pause. Even like if I pull back from contact, it would be like around the area, right? Because I'm like,
friendly fire.
right? I'm like, I don't want to fuck up this shit and my knees fucked up. I can't make it work. Those, for whatever reason, the head was never like, nah, I'll put my head right into the dude's
Did your
helmet.
coaches and stuff, did they ever talk to you guys about the risk that you were taking on?
Well, not at our level of football. One, it just wouldn't be a conversation.
But even
But those type of
kids in
conversations
high school,
generally comes from, parents should have that conversation with their kids,
Yeah.
right? And then, I think contact football, maybe 8th grade and up.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you never need to
should
hit
not
before
start
that.
early.
Right, you never need to hit before you barely even need to hit in the 8th grade with contact football. You can realistically start freshman
figure
year
it out in high
and
school.
figure it out in high school,
The
right?
late bloomers always did well.
Right. So but as far as like youth football,
Yeah.
like you should never have contact. And then unfortunately, everybody who is a coach shouldn't be a coach. Everybody's not qualified to coach, right? And we've seen these things with a couple of dudes getting like killed in like Texas and Florida. Like some people take this to a place it doesn't need to be. So the kid's safety is not even gonna be a concern. Right? That's like secondary to a lot of these people. Right? So I don't think enough of these conversations, well, probably better now, right? Where we're having conversations, there's all this information on CTE. But like when we played, I had to earn water breaks. You know how wild that is?
The level of concern that is being taken for the children now are things that I would have died for.
Yeah. We had to earn
Water
water
was
breaks.
weakness, literally.
So
You want water?
Steph's a little bit older. We didn't get water breaks released until Corey Stringer died. Corey Stringer was a NFL lineman
For the
who
Vikings,
died from dehydration, right? And that's when coach was like, oh, maybe we should get this kid some water.
Maybe they should have water.
Maybe these kids should have some water, right? So that wasn't a thing for us. So I think now, I don't want to say more education, more liability. Coaches are taking more of an interest in the health of these kids coming up.
I was a nanny for a family, and the mother said, "The kid's big. He's gonna be huge." She's like, "He will never step on a football field." She's like, "He will never step on a football. Like he's never."
Yeah.
She was like, "No, he can play anything else." She's like, "Your head, no."
Baseball's a sport.
Baseball. Listen, I never knock parents at having having that feeling.
I never thought about.
I would like my kids are gonna play like they want to play.
Yeah.
Like I don't. That's not even a thought in my head.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to hit till 8th grade or 7th grade, whatever. But they're gonna play. They want to play.
Do you think when you actually have your children, you might change your mind?
Nah.
No.
And it helps that Steph's an athlete too. She plays soccer all life, so we're on the same page in terms of kids in sports, you know, while they're doing sports, and how realistic we are about our kids' future in these sports,
right?
Which is also a thing too. So we don't get delusional like this is our chance to. We don't have to live vicariously through. Like I'm happy with my football career. You know, she still plays, so we don't have to live vicariously to kids. So I think that's a thing too that's also beneficial.
And the unrealistic chase of money, like the wealth. You know what I mean? So I had a short indoor stint. It's like arena football. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's like a shorter field. But so the last place I was. Ohio, Steubenville, Ohio. I've never even heard of it.
No, never.
It's in the middle of nowhere, but literally like a stone's throw away. You could literally from where we stayed, you could see Three Rivers.
Yeah.
The Steelers play. So one night, game's over, and the owner, it's pay night. This guy disappears. Like, and I'm in a hotel. We're all in a hotel, and like everybody's like, "Yo, so." Yeah, like the owner's like he's gone and
disappeared,
like ghosted. You know, like
he ghosted.
Joe, that happened in
This is the last stop for me in this
like,
type of scene. I'd rather play for fun.
But that happened in XFL, right?
Yeah.
Was it XFL where like recently or one or two, right? Like this summer, like the league folded and the dudes had to leave their hotel.
Yeah.
No flight home, nothing. Say, hey, listen, you gotta be out by this time. This is check out.
Like, you know what?
Chasing that.
This whole pro dream, we could end this there. We could end this. We're not chasing people from.
So the closer you get to self-aware, the better.
Very true.
All right, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up.
This is fun. Thank you so much for coming. It was lovely to meet you.
I'll edit this in a way that is better because you usually just stop it and then re-record it. You usually like transition to a fucking ending.
What are you doing? You were like, let's wrap this up. We did it.
Yeah, that would have been the stop. I would have chopped this shit up.
Flawlessly just wrapped it. I'm sorry, we just saved you from some